Charles Montgomery Punk and the WWE have a frosty relationship, in the same way that Antarctica is a frosty continent. Punk quat Big Vin's Playhouse of Greasy Boys 2 years ago, but WWE fans are still talking about him today. Well, I'm still talking about him today. Now, like all the other guys that have burnt their big muscly bridges with Scary Vincent, with this list I really could just say everything and knock off to enjoy my burgeoning drinking problem, but where's the fun in that? For you, I mean, not me. Let's say Punk returned to WWE in the future. Here's what they'd want swept under the carpet. I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and here are 10 things WWE want you to forget about CM Punk. Number 10, he lost his first world title in the worst way. One of the reasons cited by chick magnet Punk for leaving the company was the lack of respect he was given as champion, and when you look at how his first run ended, it's hard not to go, yep. Punk was first crowned World Heavyweight Champion back in June 2008, cashing in on Edge. He defended the championship on pay-per-view twice, first against Batista, retaining it via double DQ after a cane attack, not great, then against JBL at SummerSlam. Instead of defending it for a third time at Unforgiven, however, he was attacked backstage and kicked in the head by Randy Orton. It was announced that he was too injured to compete, and the title was taken off him. He didn't even lose it in the damn ring. He got a bad case of the ouchies, and they just stripped him like that. He wasn't even out for long. He tried to get the title back a week later. Weak sauce. Number 9, the uncomfortable off-the-record interview. Cookie Master Punk is known for being something of a cantankerous old salt, as any passing visitor to his Twitter feed might gather. He don't suffer no fools gladly, and that includes people in the media. Punk's at the point where he knows what his time is worth, and if you waste it, then he's going to be CM Grump, as Michael Landsberg discovered when he interviewed him for Off the Record on TSN. Mikey didn't start well by playing a parody video ribbing Punk for having no UFC opponent planned or even a weight class. As the interview ran on, Punk gets visibly surlier before mocking Landsberg, saying, "It's funny to me, you try to be friendly, you try to act like you're my friend, and then when you get me on camera, you try to act like the cool kid in school," then calling him out for thinking he's hot shit. The interviewer, flustered, calls him disrespectful for drinking coffee on his show, and oh, it's just so awkward, it's just so horrid. Media relations is super important to WWE, and if Punk ever made it back to the company, they probably want people to forget this intense little experience. Number 8, his time with TNA. WWE doesn't talk about TNA. Ever. When a wrestler like RVD disappears for a bit to be on TNA, Vince is like, "Oh, RVD? No idea. Where is he? He's probably dead. Yeah, that's it. He's dead. RVD stands for really very dead. Hey, RVD's back. Where have you been, RVD? Doesn't matter. Oh, he's gone again. He's dead." Cool Mint Punk spent some time with TNA from 2002 to 2004, but in the Best in the World DVD WWE produced about his career, the only mention made of his time there was that he worked in Nashville on Wednesdays. WWE was happy to mention Ring of Honor, but TNA? no way. Bugger off. Number 7, using homophobic language. Heck, who isn't a fan of the occasional homophobic slur? I know this guy is. Rubble-doo! WWE, macho lad blokey bloke business that it is, has been home to its fair share of glad-provoking bollocks in its time, Billy and Chucky and Rico being chief offenders 1, 2 and 3. But with the whole be a star anti-bullying thing, WWE can't be doing with homophobic outcries anymore, so when Chubby Monkey Punk cut loose on a fan at a house show shouting, "You have a vagina" at him before calling him a homo, then that was very bad for WWE. Look, what happens at a house show stays at a house show, except when people film you, then it doesn't. Forever. Number 6, his lawsuit with a WWE doctor. Chuck Mosley Punk is currently engaged in a protracted and public legal dispute with one of WWE's go-to doctors, Chris Amann. When Punk, breaking his silence on leaving WWE for the first time on Colt Cabana's podcast, said that Amann's negligence over the staph infection he had could have killed him. And Amann's counterpoint was, to paraphrase, "What the f***? Go f*** yourself, you f***ing f***er," suing him for libel and defamation of character. Punk moved to have the claim struck down, but it was upheld earlier this year and won't be going away anytime soon, much as WWE would like it to. Number 5, his first 5-star match was for another company. In the last 18 years, WWE has only produced one match that's ranked a perfect 5 stars on a Dave Meltzer scale of super duper wrestling matches. That match was at Money in the Bank 2011 and it starred Big Match John and Crooked Moonsault Punk. Considering that WWE have only received 5 such ratings from David Meltzer in history, it's not something they would ever want you to forget. What they're less chuffed about is sharing the fact that this wasn't Punk's first 5-star match. Nope, he bagged that little gem in Ring of Honor against Samoa Joe. Second's okay, but everyone remembers their first, and WWE would like you to forget that it wasn't with them. Number 4, firing Punk on his wedding day. If you say nothing else about Vinnie Mac, the man can shop for wedding gifts, whether it was a diamond-encrusted shovel for Trips and Steph, a signed picture of the Big Show for Vicky and Edge, and a big plate of Who Gives a Crap for Bully Ray and Brooke Hogan. But he saved his best for Cornelius Middlesex Punk. When Punk walked out of WWE, he wasn't fired straight away. No, he was just suspended for 2 months. It was only on June the 13th, 2014 that Punk received his severance papers, which, by the way, was also his wedding day. In a supremely awkward moment, Vince apologized to Punk live on the Stone Cold podcast, citing a failure in communication within the company, and it wasn't on purpose. Yeah, that apology's not been accepted. Whether or not WWE did it on purpose, and look at Vince's face, would someone with a face like that stoop so low, it's a big blow to their PR. Number 3, when the Punk hits a fan. Hitting people is fun. Let's just remember what company we're talking about here, but turns out that when you hit fans in the face, it's somewhat less kosher. On the 18th of October 2012, Colin McRae Punk was escaping through the crowd with his WWE title. Now, to be a little fair to Punk, the fans were all up in his business. Security wasn't doing a good job, and from this footage you can see fans shoving and hitting Punk, who is clearly getting more and more, to use a medical term, piss angry. After one slap to the head too many, he turns around and elbows a fan across the face, breaking his glasses, then pushing him down. Tragically, it wasn't even that fan who hit him. The dude was framed. The little dude in white slaps Punk's head, then squirrels away, letting someone else take the punishment. Bad form, dude in white. You're a douche. Number 2, his comments about Susan G. Komen. If you've been watching WWE for the past few years, you know about their association with Susan G. Komen for the Cure, the biggest breast cancer charity in the US. Every year, for a month, WWE goes pink and pledges to rise above cancer with all its superstars, heels or faces, decked out in coloured gear. It's one of WWE's biggest charity drives, so imagine the look on Stephanie McMahon's face when cement mixer Punk took to Twitter on October 5th and wrote, "If you're going to give money to a company that claims to raise money for finding a cure for cancer, please do some research. Komen is a scam." Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Regardless of what you think of Komen, good or ill, Punk coming out and publicly savaging one of WWE's major affiliates is a huge bridge to burn. Genuinely the sort of thing that might prevent Punk ever returning unless the Komen partnership ends. And finally, number 1, he walked out on them. WWE like to feel needed. They want to project the image that they are where everyone wants to end up, that people couldn't possibly have careers beyond V. McMahon and his travelling circus. However, when cantankerous man Punk walked out on the company, he made a statement, a resounding one, which was simply, "I don't need you." It's a humbling experience for WWE, if indeed Vince can be humbled. That's like trying to humble a rock or the sea. It was an indication that they are not the be-all and end-all for their stars, that promotions like UFC provide greater fulfillment for some. It was a huge smackdown for the company and a bitter pill for WWE to swallow. They had been CM Punked. And that's our list. Did we miss any out? Tell us about it in the comments, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and you can even follow me on Twitter here. I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and I'll see you soon.